Cracks me up every time. I heard Ruckus, we tried to get him for a second one, but his price is too high now. He's an action movie star in Hollywood. I don't get it. Ruckus, we give you this one, and then you let us go. You forget where you come from.
He's A-list.
Come on, man. What's going on?
He's, his first pick in the draft now. He's thinking he's hot.
He's too big for us, man. Yeah. I don't get it. Him and Bolt, we need to have a conversation with your lawyer. My name, however, is Rain Day, and I go by Evan Rayner as well. This is Nick Keogh, Hi-Rez Pretty Hair. We'll be your casters for today as we get the action started for the Paladins esports scene. The fourth week for qualifying for Valencia before we head into the round robin scene. But before we get into that, Nick, we've got some, speaking of, actually, let's get into it right now. I was going to talk about something else, other juicy, but this is really juicy.
Last week here, guys, week 4, May 27th and 28th for the open bracket. So this is your last week to kind of sign up and get in. We're going to take the top 4 teams after today, put them in the round robin stages where they will compete for one of 2 spots up for DreamHack Valencia. That's going to be July 13th, 14th, and 15th. 100K on the line, 8 teams. That's going to be really exciting. Me personally, very excited for that tournament, not only because of the location, but because of the competition getting so tight over these past couple of weeks.
Oh, it's been beautiful to see all these teams developing at this pace. It's pretty rapid and pretty exciting to watch. And also for this scene, the brand new scene of Paladins console to be developing at such a rapid pace. $50,000 prize pool for 4 teams. There were hundreds of teams involved signing up for this, trying to be a part of it. The open bracket qualifiers have started, so if you feel that you and a few buddies are ready to take on the realm in the console scene, you will be able to join up and maybe see us in Spain as well.
Very cool stuff there. Get to decide whether PS4 or Xbox is going to be superior, or if it's NA or EU. A lot of stuff to be decided at that tournament in particular.
That's right. But this weekend, what you can decide for yourself is how many crystals you get. It is a crystal storm this weekend. So while you're out there playing Paladins, you can win 30 crystals per each first win of the day, meaning you can get 90 each day and a total of 270 over the course of the entire weekend. So make sure you get your games in, get your wins in, and when you're done doing that, check out PTS on forums.paladins.com where you can play the new champion Ashe that's just been announced, and check out all the cool balance changes. It's a lot going on, Nick.
How was that patch show, man?
Oh, it was fun.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was.
Not being on it, not seeing it even.
Yeah, well, you know what? We missed you, man. And I know you're in New York casting a cool event there, so we'll hear about that maybe at another point in time. But a lot of Paladins action. That's all you all need to know. So let's get going into today. It is Europe. North America will be tomorrow for those who care about the NA Clown Fiesta, as a lot of people like to call it. But this is the bracket for today. It is 50 Shades of Snek, Flashpoint, and D69 versus WASD on the bottom side.
Very cool stuff here. WASD have a lot to prove. Flashpoint as well. 50 Shades and D69 oftentimes will find themselves at the top 2, and they have this time as well. The difference here being, WASD kind of starting to make more of a name for themselves, and talk a lot about that guy, about this team in particular. Any given day, they can play so well. They actually knocked out D69 in the first round of the ESL tournament, so that was pretty weird to see. D69 falling out in the first round of a tournament is just an absolute anomaly.
And if you are familiar with the community tournaments, you're able to keep up with this pro scene at a higher level. What Nick mentioned happens every Thursday. It's an ESL tournament, and you can see a lot of the development. We've been taking a lot of storylines from that. You mentioned D69 falling out to WASD. WASD kind of showing, hey, they have some guts ready to start ramping up. D69, my big question is, they seem to be ramping down. Is this a good time to be ramping down, Nick? No. Or is this a bad time?
They always bounce back. And not to say that they're in a rut right now or anything, but when you've already qualified and you're just kind of like, well, oh well, like we'll get it back, I guess. I think when it comes to crunch time, they're pretty animals about it. They're going to get after it. They're going to come back. They're going to be just as strong, I think, in the Masters Land. But they did win the Masters Land, and that's always kind of a question. How long can a team stay hungry and how at the top? And
how long can they stay driven? You're right, to keep that win going when maybe they're saving things up. They're putting it all in their back pockets, ready to travel with them to Spain as some carry-on luggage and then bring the real competition there. We'll see this week, though. Of course, 50 Shades of Snek, talking about animals. These guys have been playing fantastic over the last few weekends. Favorites of yours.
Just get carried by their subs.
Getting carried by these incredible subs that have come through. Who is recruiting for these guys? Because they need to recruit.
They are. They just go to ranked. They're like, yeah, you did pretty. That's pretty good, Katie. Why don't you come play for us this weekend? And
it's working.
Carried.
Who's going to be facing them, though? I mean, taking a look at some of the competition they faced, they've kind of went through everybody who has held their attention for too long. Flashpoint, though, another team that's come forward for me that has been having a rise in play. They've been kind of showing that they deserve to be with these top dogs, and this is a perfect time for them to showcase what they really have last week of the tournament. Can they pull out the big win here?
Got to get the big point spread as well. Coming in first and second, it's such a big difference in terms of getting into that top 4. So Flashpoint, another squad like we mentioned coming up, but I think they did have some roster changes. I'm not sure. We'll have to see as we get forward into this set. You saw the map draft come up a little bit earlier, ready for the Bright Marsh game here in game number 1. That's been cool to see kind of that map in particular. I feel like it's just been very popular.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's due to Inara being very strong. The balance changed with her coming through. That'll be interesting to see how teams adjust. But as we kind of level the playing field towards DreamHack, you know, the balance changes will kind of tone down, and you know, their intensity and that sort of thing, everything will kind of level out. That's when I think the pocket strats really come into play, and maybe that's what D69 is doing. They're not showing anything. They don't really care if they're losing at this point. It's only in next week when we move into the round robin that those games are going to start to matter again, and we're going to see the real animal hunger come out from those guys.
I mean, a lot of people care about crystals in our Paladins universe. What I think is the most important resource right now is time. These guys do not have a lot of time to make sure that they know every single map, they know every single strategy, and they've developed things that are not only going to win and put them in the position to play in Spain, but when they get to Spain are going to surprise their opponents. That's what some of the OCE teams we see, some of the teams from other regions bring out these different strategies. And D69, they know if they're going to repeat, they need to have back pocket strategies. All these teams here know if they're even going to get there, they've got to be versed on every single map in this game.
Very cool stuff, for sure.
We should be ready for the champion draft soon, I think.
I agree.
And also, just going into this, Bright Marsh, you mentioned Inara. Any tweaks? I think we're still, she just got a nerf. And the buff a little bit, changed the Earthen Guard, but we're not playing on that patch
yet. It's
yet.
not going to be live yet. That will be the start of the round robin once those changes do go live. That's why we encourage you to get on PTS. You know, personally, I think that is going to feel a little bit better. You know, and from what I understand, you know, it was just healing amp put on the Earthen Guard as well as just CC immunity. So now a very cool little way to kind of work in the cauterized immunity, which was kind of the end goal, I think, and that was what makes Inara special. She's kind of like that late game tank. She doesn't have any shields to wreck her. She can get the cauterized immunity, at least to some extent, so she's very cool in terms of, you know, bringing a different dynamic. And, you know, maybe we'll see a healer someday that doesn't fall off as hard late game.
Ooh, Nick, you out here with these potential Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Let's head into the champion draft. You guys have been waiting for it, and get the first set started up. The Georgia Peach lets you know where we are. Hi-Rez Studios in Alpharetta. And now taking you to Bright Marsh, a whole nother location. We just did a lot of traveling. You came from New York the day before.
You know that peach splash screen. That peach splash screen is a big part of why I work here at Hi-Rez. I was playing Smite when I was super addicted to Smite in college. One day I just logged in and I saw the peach splash screen come up, and I was like, "What? This is made in Georgia? I live in Georgia." And I look it up. It's 20 minutes from my house. I'm like, "Yo, sign me up."
Wow. And literally, you did sign up. You became an intern. You worked here for a few years, and now here you are. Well, what a cool story. I know a lot of people wish they could do something like that. You're not too far away. You could be the next pretty something. Maybe not pretty hair. We already have one of those, but pretty face, maybe. That could be one. Snake here, starting out with Inara as the nothing, man. You have a great face too. Inara, first pick for Snake, so no surprise there. Also, the comfort picks of Makoa for Thiel, and then they have Androxus, which is just so deadly if SunCommander is playing with them right now.
Pretty crazy that Andro is going third. Makoa still strong for Snek in general. I mean, it's just Thiel. I think. I don't know. He probably won't ever get off that champion unless, you know, something drastic to it, because, you know, to me it's a 2-second cooldown nerf. I mean, it still does what it does. Thiel still hits. He still has that nuts accuracy. So I think as a player, it doesn't affect Thiel a whole lot. And it's been such a staple of Snek's strategy. It's going to be good. But the Barrack first for Flashpoint is definitely kind of throwing me off a little bit. That's been a while since we've seen Barrack prioritize that high, especially on this map in particular. I mean, we've even seen Fernando, I think, on this map.
And this could be a strategy to take away a Barrack from Snake, right? Not wanting the Inara-Barrack combination, which is, once they get a foothold on that point in Bright Marsh, so hard to get into.
No ruckus.
And no ruckus here, which is very unusual. We've seen a lot of North American teams and even EU teams in ESL, 50 Shades of Snek in particular with bonkar, have some amazing performances with ruckus. So with the lineups shaking up the way they are, Nick, and we are about to head into game, who do you think has the edge? Snake?
Yeah. They feel like they got everything they want. The Cyb 8, definitely the Totemic Ward Grok, is something that, you know, could work, could not work. It could go either way for me, in my opinion. Ripen Gourd, though, for Birds, Maldamba will be plucked for Thiel's Makoa Bonker. Will have Mother's Grace for Zanar, Darkstalker for SunCommander's Androxus, and a Combustible for Laizy's Drogos.
No Worm Jets this time. Laizy switching it up. Mortal Reach Ceres for CogCog. Will be Exaction Cassie for Faenex. Architectonics Barrack for Sephicloud. Accelerant Bomb King for Fisheko. The Master of His Majesty. And Totemic Ward. The extra healing and the CC immunity on the Healing Totem for Cybe 8's Grok. As we start looking at the items coming forward first.
This is definitely 3 cots and a wrecker and the morale boost. Pretty standard for Ceres, but the Grok here is kind of what Flashpoint used against D69 when they drafted kind of a CC heavy comp, and they were able to pull it off. There's one hook that's canceled out right there from the Totemic Ward. Thiel lands the hook, but the reactionary totem comes down in time to cancel it out. And
that's the benefit of having a guy like Cybe 8, such a mechanically strong player, just on his toes, on his fingers, ready to pop that totem whenever needed for this game. 50 Shades of Snek in control, like you mentioned, split, not able to really be exposed by Flashpoint.
We've got the 3 lowest mobility champions on Flashpoint stuck off in a room together. Snek just, come in between as 5, pick 2 of them off, and then 3 are just basically free at that point. Cassie and Bomb King. Fisheko needs to go big. One more bomb onto Laizy, could confirm it, though already 96% on the point for Snek.
Nice turnaround there by Laizy, though, to hit the Combustible through the window. Bonkar actually cleans up the kill onto Cybe 8. Fisheko left by himself as the only aggressor here for Flashpoint Esports. Is Barrack not such a good tank to come back from behind and siege onto the objective? Maybe we'll get one of those in OB51. But so far, 50 Shades of Snek up 1-0 on Brightmarsh.
SunCommander, a lot of room to move here, and Faenex is going to go down. It's actually the bird rolling into the gore. The damage was enough. Faenex trying to get healed up here, but a headshot from SunCommander is going to be more than enough to take him down. Bonkar trying to stay alive here. Bird doing his best to keep everybody healed up. Actually top in the game on his ultimate right now, sitting at 95%, 99. You see him just cranking up there right at 100%. That's the hallmark of a good support, putting out a ton of damage, because the only way he's going to get there before everyone else is not only he's doing a ton of healing, but damage as well.
And we know how strong and powerful that ultimate can be. Convergence online for Bird in for CogCog in just a moment, knowing he might be able to stall out this push, which has not been stopped yet. But Laizy above the air, waiting for the Dread Serpent. Perfect timing. Laizy and 50 Shades of Snek have a great play with their ultimates. They're able to make something happen.
This is a big fire spit there, though, that would have connected on to probably 3, if not all 4 of the members still alive for Flashpoint. There's a nice one over the top. Double kill for Laizy. The dot's going to be good enough to kill CogCog.
Look at this. Laizy going crazy, trying to finish off the Hunter's Daughter. One shot in the air, no look, trying to get out of the radius of the Bomb King stun. The Fisheko comes in to try and turn the tide for Flashpoint. Not sure it's going to be enough, though, Nick, as the payload is almost pushed to completion.
A lot of members low here, but Thiel gets a couple of key seconds to heal up, but enough and not enough foot on the gas there to try and go against the Bomb King. That's the thing about Bomb King, is a lot of members low can easily turn into all members dead when it is the Bomb King still left alive. He has the potential to kind of just run through and one-shot a bunch of low health targets. So Snek not wanting to get the full wipe scenario here, was still, just under a minute left on the clock.
And because of that stun radius, because of the damage, because of just the follow-up potential that ultimate leads, it's one of the more game-swinging moments of a game. And Fisheko, a guy who's such a master at this champion, known to do so well, he's not going to miss the moments when he needs to. Laizy trying to make sure he hits this Dragon Punch, but Sephicloud in the Dome Shield will take him out mid-air as CogCog keeps Cybe 8 alive and looks to finish off Bonkar with the Inara.
Thiel very low in the background. Sephicloud's actually going to get it. Here comes the Tempest just to keep everyone from Flashpoint topped off. 15 seconds remain here, surging forward. Flashpoint not wanting to let off the gas here. They're going to hang back for the time being. Snek might have one more shot at this, but it's going to have to be SunCommander or somebody high mobility to get in and contest this payload.
Snek literally have used all of their ultimates. The only benefit is they used the Maldamba ultimate so early that it is now available for the next round. But in terms of conservation, they didn't leave anything left to be had and the tank. So this, to me, is a 50 Shades of Snek that's showing they really want to win and win fast against these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this Totemic Word is going to stave off a lot of what they're looking to do here, the Dread Serpent. And the Seismic Crash are a lot of the setup, for that Dragon Punch. Laizy needs all the help he can get landing his ultimates. Thiel on his Ancient Rage is not going to win the team fight. More often than not, Ancient Rage just buys more time nowadays. And one of the main weaknesses of Ancient Rage, you can see Thiel picking up this Cauterize too. While he's in that ultimate, the anchor doesn't apply Cauterize. So a lot of times, Sarish is just going to be able to heal through the damage range. It's really just for Thiel to buy time on the front line, be a big presence in somebody's face, you know, trying to scare them off. But it's going to come down to Laizy and SunCommander to be able to drive these fights home. Those are the only two team fight actually winning ultimates.
Fisheko here, 2 bombs onto Laizy, gonna put the dragon out of flight for just a moment, at least force him to retreat, but he will get healed up thanks to the awareness of Bird, one of the best healers, one of the best captains here in the European scene. 9% now for 50 Shades of Snek as they keep the momentum rolling. 2 tanks on the objective, but they're pushing back, Nick. Sephicloud seems to be making his way with a nice turret towards the doorway entrance, and now Bird looking to find a kill, but Fisheko and the boys CogCog grab one on the Laizy.
Nice convergence there. It's gonna force Thiel into a bad spot. Laizy will go down. SunCommander just looking for that, you know, elusive angle here. Drox needs to be careful, not super tanky. Needs to find a good angle here, and the barrack being so set up is going to be make things very difficult for him.
These turrets are so good. Architectonics turning his normal turrets into hit scan turrets, meaning if they see you and you just wait long enough, they will do the damage. There's no way those things are going to miss. Fisheko, though, misses a big opportunity to kill one of the members of 50 Shades of Snek. Here's the seismic crash and the Dread Serpent to follow up. A stun onto a fear. This is what 50 Shades of Snek need to turn this around.
Totemic Ward and good spacing, though, from Flashpoint. Negates a lot of that impact, but it's going to be enough impact. Here comes the Dragon Punch flying through as well. Doesn't clean up anyone, so Laizy's going to retain 30% of that ultimate charge, but frankly a little too overlappy for me on those ultimates.
Look at this though, Nick. Look at how long they have to fight this point. You're so used to the comeback mechanic, a team going 2-0, and that second fight being over after a few team fights, but so many ultimates here. What a wall to block off. The King Bomb, bonkar showing his mastery of Inara.
I mean, Bright Mark's just Inara's map. SunCommander with a double kill off his Accursed Arm. Laizy finds one as well. It's going to be a good start to this push. SunCommander gets another one. That's 4 down for Flashpoint, so plenty of momentum to push off. Keep it on the gas here. CogCog goes down as well. This is just stay in the base at this point. You have plenty of payload room to give up. Cybait's down on the low ground. Can't get back up with Grok. Gives up another kill. Finally, we're seeing some people stay up on the high ground. Flashpoint, you need to just chill for a sec, stabilize. You've already given up more than you probably would have gained, even if that fight went your way.
Minute 53 seconds on the clock. You see it right there. Androxus, the God Slayer, strong flanker right now, has his ultimate, the Accursed Arm, charged up and ready to go. He could turn the tide and maybe focus on one target, try to get the Saris out, maybe the Cassie as well. So far holding it, wants to get up into the air to just get the best vantage point to use it.
Laizy's already back. Here comes the convergence. Long range is going to pull in just Thiel. Actually, Laizy managed to break the line of sight of that long range fire. So it comes through. It's actually going to whiff. Has his Dragon Punch ready to go as well with decent angle on this fight as well. But CogCog doing a good job keeping everybody topped off. bonkar falls down, and that's a lot of their, you know, point break potential gone.
They just need one. Right now, that's all 50 Shades of Snek are looking for. One kill to turn the tide in their favor. But right now, Flashpoint doing a great job of pushing them back, and they get the kill on the Thiel. So this will add at least another 10-15 seconds onto this aggression by Flashpoint, maybe the time they need to stabilize.
Snek getting a taste of their own medicine here, giving up a couple of key picks. Laizy, SunCommander now the most to forward pushed out. bonkar has returned, still managed to maintain his horse at this point, so he could come surging in and get right in somebody's face. Tries to wall off Fisheko on the Bomb King, but he's going to be able to get up and over that wall with a nice poppy bomb.
A good Inara wall can change fights. We've seen it on this map as well. Close quarters means if you get stuck in the wrong place, you might just have to go back to base. Laizy, though, 56 health on a 5 streak, and he's going to get a combustible that gets the kill. That's what happens when you don't take out the dragon. Double kill from death. Laizy, long range, ends up helping the fight for 50 Shades of Snek, and they might be able to turn it around. Fisheko, the only man alive, but the King has no answer. 50 Shades of Snek will move forward with a 2-0 round.
I think that's one of the things always to me that stood out for superstar players in any sort of video game. You know, Laizy with 50 health there, 57 HP I think it was, realizes he's just as dangerous with 57 HP as he is with full HP. And he can still find the right angle to influence that fight. He did end up going down. I don't know if Fisheko spotted him out, but, you know, good on him if he did. But still realizing, hey, I can have an impact on this fight. I probably need to have an impact on this fight. I can't afford, you know, everyone's going to need healing from Bird at this point. The team fight has started. Ultimates are starting to come out. I can't just sit in the back and whine about not getting healed. I need to do what I can to have an impact. 97,000. Goddamn Bird. Coming in hot.
I mean, this is a result of Inara having the Earthen Guard debuff immunity, meaning Cauterize does not affect her when she uses her right click, and that allows all healing to just take its full form, and that is what Bird is taking advantage of. But so Fisheko decides to take out the healer. He will go down as well, and unlike Laizy, it won't be a 2-for-1. It will be a 1-for-1, a healer for a damage dealer.
Laizy does find Faenex as well. All the damage now wiped clean off the slate for Flashpoint. It's all about finding that opportunity to get down. Dragon Punch is available if he feels he needs it, but in a 3v5 scenario, I don't see Snek popping many ults.
I love Combustible Drogos in this map, Nick. The pressure that it provides, and Laizy, how much value he's found from hitting 3 or 4 members at the same time. He's got to keep this up, though. Faenex in the backline, if he gets a pick on the SunCommander, could absolutely swing this in Flashpoint's way. bonkar looking very low.
Convergence coming down on the point. Pulsing just Laizy double kill for SunCommander, though, ripping this part
Oh!
apart before it even starts. Huge reversal as well. One more shot's not going to be enough. Fisheko barely escapes with his life. One more, he knows exactly where SunCommander is. SunCommander wisely, I think, just giving up, turning to the healer. One more shot's going to do it. He doesn't find it, though. Big reversal could be through again, and 9,000 damage, or 1,000 damage, excuse me, is not going to be enough. But, I mean, he bought that time, that space, all by himself.
He sure did.
Come away with the win.
What a great play there by SunCommander and by the entire team of 50 Shades of Snek to take the first map of Bright Marsh over Flashpoint. You know, one of the things I absolutely loved about seeing was I felt like the picks were really comfortable, although they weren't necessarily some of the strongest picks that we know these guys can play on. Laizy, great game, had a couple of key superstar swinging moments, but not really known for his Drogos play. Still shows up big today.
Getting better. 17-3, and I think just picking the appropriate legendary,
80K
right?
damage.
It's easy enough to just sit back and crank down fire spits when you know and when you see the way that Flashpoint are playing. Sephicloud, Cybe 8, and CogCog were almost always within arm's reach of each other, which even after the nerfs to the Masterful card that gives the cooldown reset to fire spit, you know, you're almost guaranteeing hitting 3 targets. He was hitting 3 targets, majority of that, putting the cooldown at 2 seconds. You know, it's 2,600 free damage.
Yeah.
In every single fight. A lot of ultimate charge as well, despite missing his first one and a couple thereafter. Laizy always seemed like he had the Dragon Punch ready to go.
Yeah, and he made good use of it. I think one of the things, too, that I mentioned as we get into the maps for game number 2 coming up, 50 Shades of Snek comboing those ultimates together. The Dread Serpent at the right time with the Salvo, just waiting a little bit so you can guarantee you know where they're going. Jaguar Fall is going to be even more important, just as close, maybe in closer quarters to be fighting on for the entire map. This is one that 50 Shades of Snek do not want to let go to Flashpoint to give them any momentum.
Yeah, Drogo's Bomb King as well going to be very key in this environment. Drogo's probably a little bit more than Bomb King, but Laizy and Fisheko kind of go back and forth. Almost in that way. I would consider Laizy probably a little bit better of a Bomb King, as well as I would consider Fisheko a little bit better of a Bomb King. So that could be, you know, the kind of mix-up they're looking for in this engagement. But with Inara so strong, I think just inherently makes Drogos a little bit stronger because his ultimate, just one-shotting her, is an easiest, you know, clean way to just get her off the table in a fight, which oftentimes you find yourself just fighting Inara the whole time, and then you just lose every fight.
Yeah. Well, let's see who gets Inara coming up in the draft right now. We'll see who prioritizes the first pick. We've seen stranger things, though. Not just the TV show. We've seen Inara not get picked up first and maybe opting for the second 2 picks to try and counter something out, such as a Barrack, a Bomb King, a Ruckus, a Saris, some type of combo like that. And right now you'll see Snake, Makoa. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Saris here.
Could be a number of things. I wouldn't be surprised to see Androxus.
Bomb King, that makes sense.
I think that's just what Laizy is more comfortable on. Like I said, I think Fisheko personally, I think is a little bit better on Bomb King than he is on Drogos. He's good. They're both great on both, but Bomb King just ever so slightly, almost in the way that we almost give ever so slightly the favor to Bugsy's Drogos, even though his Bomb King is just as great.
Yes.
But going to be a little bit more comfortable there. Ultimate's going to be key, though. A lot of potential CC immunity coming through here. Flashpoint have not been scared to take the Totemic Warp Grok in any of these situations.
Ruckus here going to be a big impact player on Jaguar Falls. The Flux Generator or the Aerial Assault have proven to be fantastic legendaries for this DPS-heavy tank, which allows the front line not only to do their job, to buy time, but with a guy like bonkar playing, to really add onto the damage charts.
So an Eevee comes out, and I mean, it's likely to be the Saris there, and there it is. But Creative's putting a ton of pressure on Bird. This past week in the ESL tournament may have been something teams are kind of watching, seeing that and being like, hey, this could be a potential weakness to exploit. Bird, he's one of the best supports in the business, so I don't know if that's the wisest decision to put all your eggs into killing Bird. I mean, he's known for his extremely low death count, his slipperiness, but we'll have to see if that's their plan there. Fishko's going to be on that one. Spirit's chosen for CogCog's Maldamba. Flashpoint trying to bring things back. Mother's Grace for Faenex's Inara. Sephicloud will be on Architectonic's Barrack. Desert Shadow for Cybe8's Shaolin, and a Wormhole for Fishko's Eevee.
bonkar will be on Aerial Assault, as we've seen now. Mortal Reach Ceres for Bird. It is going to be Pluck Makoa for Thiel, the turtle that's the hunter's daughter. Very interesting backstory there. Dark Stalker for Androxus is SunCommander there. And Laizy going to be playing the Accelerant Bomb King as the cards come through. The hunter's daughter being highlighted. Thiel, this is the mastery title, saying that he can't just play tanks. He could frag out on some damage dealers as well.
Every tank man, every support man needs something to carry in ranked with. Thiel, it just happens to be Cassie. Early Grumpy Bomb comes out. No first blood just yet. Looking for the hook maybe. Thiel boxing out with Faenex a little bit.
Don't mind this play right here as well. Inara taking things slow. Faenex actually almost finishing off
long-range
Laizy.
Maldamba stun.
Got really lucky there. Pokes his head out, allows Ceres to get the heal. She doesn't have to keep line of sight. She just has to have it for the brief moment she starts the heal, and it will stay channeling onto you. However, SunCommander picks up 2 in the back line, and Laizy now able to survive and then turn around and get a kill onto to Faenex in that fight.
I feel like that happened a couple of times last game as well. SunCommander come through with that crispy reload. And, you know, things don't look like they're going so great, and then you look at the kill feed, it's like, oh, Sun already killed everybody else.
Well, that's the benefit of Darkstalker and the mobility it provides. Actually getting a bit of a nerf in this next patch, but with 81% on the objective, 50 Shades of Snek are happy to take it as it is right now. Bird almost gets so low, forced to jump onto the Grumpy Bomb. Great Earthen Guard, granting the CC immunity so that she does not get stunned. It's do or die, and she sees the opportunity. She wants to get the kill onto Thiel, and that's a great example of a heads-up play.
Both tanks just cut off right there from Bird, unable to get in, and SunCommander trying to do what he can, but he's going to go down. Cybe8 with 2 kills of his own, taking that fight back in control. 57% climbing for Flashpoint, 90% though for 50 Shades of Snek.
Hey, Shaolin, I know you're the Desert Shadow, the Desert Wind, but I see you. I see you, dog. I see how that's working. And the Heat Haze available as well, making him invisible if he would elect to. Flashpoint seem to have turned this around. 96% Thiel on the objective. The Hexifier comes through from bonkar. That's not going to work. Thiel goes down as well. This is very likely to be Flashpoint's objective right now.
SunCommander's trying to box out, trying to get a big reversal into CogCog, but unable to find it. Laizy stacking up the bombs. Will find Fisheko, but it's not enough. Flashpoint do come away with the first payload. Bird goes down. Laizy goes down as well, and Flashpoint are off to the races.
This is the story right here. 7 streak for Barrack. Whenever a front line has an incredibly long streak like that, he just falls now. It just means that he was a little too comfortable. Maybe the focus in the fight wasn't at its appropriate targets, or maybe that Eevee's distracting them more than they want her.
Maybe, yeah, because that's what I was about to say next, is maybe a little bit of the opposite for 50 Shades of Snek. Thiel and bonkar both went down. Bird was nowhere to be found, and that just doesn't happen for no reason, you know, with a guy like Bird. It must have been the Eevee or somebody putting pressure on him, or maybe Laizy needed bailed out. Something went wrong there. There was some disconnect where both tanks were caught out pretty low and without a healer to be seen.
Oh, great play by Laizy. Accelerant Poppy Bombs over to the edge. Double kill for the King Bomb. The pro damage player here for one of the best teams in Europe, 50 Shades of Snek, coming up big. 1 and 32 seconds now on the clock as Flashpoint look to contest and move forward. A 2-0 is a big win here if they can get this to completion.
Oh, that's a good way to start a fight, though. Flashpoint pick up SunCommander, long range, Impaler arrow into the planted. Gonna clean him up. There's the wall, a little bit of a knockup coming through, and there's the seismic crash, gonna stun out both tanks. Ice Storm to lock them down, and both of them cleaned up right at the start, so no more front line for Snek.
We thought 50 Shades of Snek had the ultimate synergy, but now the ultimate synergy truly is in the hands of Flashpoint, but in the air with a planet takes down SunCommander as he's using his ultimate. That accursed arm got no value, but Cybe8, he's on a 4 streak.
The fadeaway. Now Flashpoint are just trying to usher this payload in as fast as possible. Bird's here to keep the tanks healthy-ish. Gotta get out of spawn though, gotta wait for Laizy, gotta wait for SunCommander, who have both fallen rather staggered. Thiel's already at half health, just trying to get out, just trying to contest. Only a couple inches left on this payload.
He just Ancient Rage. He needs the HP. He knows he's gotta contest this, and look at that, in the stealth. It's going to mean that Cybe8 stays alive, but not long enough, because Bird goes in with the Soul Orbs to finish off the kill. A Dome Shield coming out from Barrack, trying to stall enough time for Flashpoint Esports, but will there be enough? So many members of 50 Shades of Snek low. Fisheko finds one. Faenex gets another. Fisheko with a double. The Winter Witch coming to play. And this just could be Flashpoint taking a 2-0 lead.
Bonkar's all by himself right now. Wall comes up to escape him, and that's going to be enough. Breaks the line of sight, and the payload continues to roll forward. Flashpoint find the 2-0. They're starting to hit their stride a little bit. Completely different, I think, in terms of the pick, and that's just good enough. You don't want to be too predictable in your draft. Fisheko, one of the guys that really brought back Eevee for me personally, when she kind of had fallen off. He was a newer name in the scene back then, and that's just what he was comfortable with. That's what he's playing with, and he's still having a great impact on it, and she's still really not back. She's only kind of coming up when we see maybe Kinessa's come up on Frozen Guards, Timber Mills, that sort of thing, because Eevee's just so good against that. But you know, you don't look at this 50 Shades of Snek draft and say Eevee is the answer to this.
No.
But, you know, almost in the way that, you know, you don't look at it and say Pip's the answer, Grover's the answer. Simsalo still rocks it, and he does better on that than what he would have picked, you know, to counter the meta. And even Cybate on his Shaolin, it's another great look. You know, not taking the Drogos, not being predictable, seems to be working out for Flashpoint overall against these top teams.
And despite how much damage Drogos can do, sometimes he's more vulnerable than an Eevee who has an Ice Block. He's got 2 mobility options. And look at this aggressiveness. It might actually have not turned out in his favor. This time SunCommander gets the kill, but Fisheko going for Thiel, trying to get him low. This is all of Flashpoint just grouped up on the right side and losing the objective as they do so. 42% already for Snake.
Comeback mechanic for Snek, and unable to get that Inara may come back to haunt them. She was extremely low. Hexafire is still available if they need it. SunCommander looking for something, anything. Fisheko finds Bird. That's a big kill for Flashpoint.
And that is exactly what the CV's looking for. Dive into the back line, get onto Saris as fast as possible, but now they've lost CogCog, and they've lost their damage, and they've lost their tank. More and more insult to injury there as 50 Shades of Snek look to be in clear command. This time, SunCommander returns the killing blow onto Cybate.
Time to clutch up. 3 kills, almost making it 4. Bird coming back and claiming that one. 50 Shades come away with the payload here. Now with the chance to tie things up with a good conversion. SunCommander just happens to win some of these fights for them.
And this is Fisheko, I think, you know, losing out a little bit, maybe going a little bit too aggressive, feeling himself on the 2-0, having a little too much confidence. Never a bad thing, but sometimes it might come back to haunt you as you go for the Thiel and get picked off early in that fight. Just forces them to take an unnecessary disadvantage in that point.
2 minutes remain here for this payload to find conversion. Flashpoint have a couple of key ultimates, 3, almost 4. The Dome Shield just 4% off. 50 Shades of Snek have a couple of good ones to drive the team fight. Oh, nice hook up onto the high ground. It's going to be an easy cleanup on the Cybate.
Fisheko into the ice block to immune the damage. SunCommander chasing him down.
Wow.
Winter Witch in the air snipes her with the revolver, and Androxus gets the better end of that trade yet again. And so SunCommander, not a guy you want to let get on a streak, Nick, but it seems like he's starting to feel himself.
That's just so hard to do. Out of the soar mid-air. Here comes the Dread Serpent. Flashpoint need to make a stand here. Seismic Crash comes off the backside as well. They're looking for Thiel.
Androxus has the accursed arm. Will he get taken down? Knows the Shaolin is back, and knows Fishko's back as well, so doesn't want to keep himself still in the air, and actually will retreat this time around. Smart play by 50 Shades of Snek. They'll just regroup, get together as a unit, say, let's do this as a family, and get back onto this objective. They got time, but so do Flashpoint, as every second that ticks away gets them closer to a 3-1 lead going into the next round.
As well as I like Flashpoint not being scared to use their ultimates. I mean, you look at 27%, 36% already back on these ones that were used to win that team fight. And you need it. You got to skunk that momentum at some point. You cannot let Snek just continue to roll, start to finish. The payload never stops moving. So a wise choice, I think, from Flashpoint here to use those ultimates with plenty of time to get them charged back up.
Laizy, SunCommander, Thiel, Bird, anyone you mention here, even Bonkar is a big pick for Flashpoint, but they can't commit too much. If they get out of position and they lose the pick, it could be bad. So the Dome Shield popped preemptively to keep everyone safe. Faenex finally finds the kill onto Thiel, and that will mean, however, thanks to some of that stun there, Bird and Bonkar will find one. Laizy finds another. Oh no, this is a melting snowball right here. They have no way to run, and Fisheko in the ice block will take the headshot from SunCommander and spray just to let them know who they're facing.
Miss a headshot, why don't you? SunCommander hits 4 in a row on the stun target, and then 1 on an Eevee as she's trying to retreat out of a fight. Having another great game, 5 streak for him, finding a lot of clutch kills for his squad. And Thiel doing a good job providing that peel for him, I think. Even as, you know, the secondary tank here with 2 frontliners. Normally it's Thiel and Laizy, but it's cool to see Thiel, you know, off protecting SunCommander in a way, showing that you don't like to see a team that has like an in-game leader or some, you know, core bodyguard duo that once that dies, the team fight falls apart. It looks like, okay, well, Laizy's feeding, so basically we can just protect SunCommander and he can go around and win the team fight. Likewise, if SunCommander goes down, you know, it can be Laizy. And there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of versatility from this 50 Shades of Snek roster to win a team fight.
They're each so good. They've got the flexibility to have one go down and the other four, somebody rise from the ashes there like a Phoenix and save the day. However, SunCommander, he hasn't gone down in a while, so to have ashes near him, you'd have to stop Thiel getting all these great hooks. Fisheko running wormhole means he doesn't have the healing, but he will get out of dodge. SunCommander here still yet to find a kill. This
is interesting. This little 2v2 going on right now. Nara's just too difficult. I mean, look at bonkar's doing like literally no damage right now, so we're just kind of farming some ult charge, I guess, for free. SunCommander does find Fisheko. That's the big key, but Fisheko found Thiel. Now it's on Laizy. He gets a big kill there onto Side 8, and off the back of that Dread Serpent, they're just going to continue to find more and more momentum.
The Dread Serpent really countered well by Bird. With the convergence you heard in the background means that as they go to aggress off of the fear that provides, they all get pulled in and get nothing for their money. So great heads-up play by Bird to be able to stall any offensive that might have swayed that fight. 96%, Faenex has to jump onto the point. He's going to be looking for somebody impactful. That could be Laizy, but he's getting healed up by Bird. Cauterize effective in this game, but not enough to keep him from staying alive.
OCC menu for Faenex. There goes down off the back of the Grumpy Bomb stun. There comes more capture point, more kills as well for 50 Shades of Snek. 99%. The overtime's ticking, and not anyone from Flashpoint is nowhere near this payload to try and contest it. Another one goes the way of Snek. Up 3-2 now with a chance to take game number 2.
They have gone 3 points down in a row after having a great start. Really nice preemptive reversal there by SunCommander. Let you know he knows this character so in depth. Just able to know Sidebait's going to shoot at him, activate it before, catch the arrow, and then fire it back at Barrack just for a little damage on the side.
2 minutes remain here. Faenex finds bonkar, so one tank already off the board for 50 Shades of Snek. Laizy in a bit of an awkward spot here, but it looks like he'll be able to get out. There's 2 kills, 2 for 1 now in favor of Snek overall in the team fight.
This mobility is so good, able to get in and out, stay safe, but look at that, Faenex, when he gets near you, not somebody you want to be with, and that Sonara damage is nothing to be reckoned with. She will escape just for a minute. Oh, great wall there as well, but it seems like she's just buying time, but the healer is able to come through, keep her alive for now, and this could be the changing moment, Nick. We often point out to these of one player staying alive and having a big impact later on.
Laizy's getting a nice angle on this, takes out CogCog. Super low right now. Faenex is going to take him out, but what is it enough? Hexafire comes out, puts both tanks so low from Flashpoint. One goes down, and Nara's going to be able to stay alive for a little bit, but just not enough HP to outlast.
Bonkar with a great Hexafire. You mentioned he was charging it up earlier. Well, that charge sure paid dividends for him. A minute and 11 seconds, but 50 Shades of Snek are right there. Convergence trying to come through. Bird, he just used it, and he's still able to follow up, but there's nothing else needed. 50 Shades of Snek claim the victory and go 2-0 up against Flashpoint.
That's just too much left in the tank right there for Snek. They get a small lead, and then just one ultimate slowly after another. It's just enough to keep Flashpoint on the back foot. That's where, you know, you've given up, and the game is lost before it's over, kind of at that point. Unfortunately, against a team like Snek, when you give them that type of lead that close to conversion, there's nothing that you can do to bring it back. It has to be a big mistake on the side of 50 Shades of Snek, but they're not about to make that type of mistake in the last week of qualifiers.
They've just got so much synergy between all of them. They know almost what each other are thinking, what their play styles are. That's the benefit of having a veteran team, and that is the benefit of having such excellent players who play this game at such a high level. Looking at the stats, finishing things off, it will be top damage heading to Side8, but very close behind. Is actually Laizy's going to get top damage there. Side8 very close behind. Bonkar keeping up with them, though. 73,000 on the Ruckus. Just really improve. Sephicloud on the Barrack, 72K as well. These tanks are hitting hard.
They just kind of punch each other in the face for a while on the point. Why? That's like as a result of that awkward 2v2 we saw. And Nara, Thiel, it was Nara, Makoa, and then Droxus and Eevee kind of 2v2ing. Meanwhile, that's just Sephicloud and Bonkar punching each other in the face. And there's not really enough damage to kill them because their healers are keeping them alive. So that sort of thing is what inflates those stats towards the end of the game.
Hey, well, these stats work. They work for 50 Shades of Snek. I'm sure they're working for Flashpoint, but just not enough. It feels like this set is just a story of a team coming so close, yet so far. And Flashpoint, they really want to make things work. Frozen Guard will be the next map. So a little bit of a different style here. There are some pocket strategies that allow for some snipers to be really effective, like Kinessa here. I wonder if we'll see Fisheko's Eevee again, and I wonder if we will have 50 Shades of Snek opt for that sniper.
Probably. And it's tough to get that sort of thing past Bird in a draft phase because he's kind of that's what the draft is what helps, you know, what was then Burrito become the dominant force that they were in Paladins. Bird was a very good drafter. He was a previous coach for Smite that has, you know, 3 times the amount of characters and strategies that can potentially be pulled out. So, you know, Paladins with 20 characters was easy peasy for him. It was a very simple puzzle for him to just put together. We'll head on over to the draft for Frozen Guard to see if Flashpoint can pull anything out. And, you know, that's kind of been the theme for me for them. You know, that's how they were taking games off D69. They were pulling out Totemic Ward Grox and just kind of janky stuff that, you know, that's what it's designed to do, but just nobody like gave it the time of day to even try it to see if it worked.
And that's what they need to do. And, you know, when you talk about a veteran team that's established and they have a committed and I think tried and true method that works, you need to be somebody to invent a method that either works against it or changes the dynamic so that that method, while maybe good in a different meta, isn't good in what you are bringing to the table. That's why we've seen, you know, the EV work sometimes. We've seen some Totemic Ward Grox work sometimes. Flashpoint, though, with the Inara first pick, hasn't been the decider for them. Didn't help them last game. Snake comfortable with just taking Bomb King Magoa yet again.
Kind of going for a more long-range style of poke. Saris is picked up as well. What will Bonkar play with Ruckus gone and Inara gone? Will they put him on the Barrack, or will they let him play something to frag on Cassie? Likely for SunCommander. Just have some type of long-range pressure here, keeping themselves open for a counter pick potentially, but Flashpoint going full Kanga here.
Wow, the Grover coming out for Flashpoint. We've seen pretty much only one legendary for Grover be played, and that is Deep Roots, allowing him to, instead of cripple his target, root them in place. This would be perfect, I think, playing against an Inara, but this also kind of is a support with Maldamba that does fade away the Kinessa ideas a little bit.
Yeah, Barrack. It helps. It's not a flanker, but it definitely helps shut down a long-range area, so Barrack will be what Snek round things out with, just to kind of fight on the point. And frankly, I'm not in love with Snek's draft. I do like Flashpoint's draft just because, you know, we do got Grover. I'd love to see what they're thinking of. You know, I feel like they've always got a reason for why they pick something kind of wonky. Yeah. You know, Frozen Guard, you can say it's just the long runs of sight, but I feel like there might be something more to it here. Spirit's Chosen for CogCog's Maldamba. Mother's Grace for Faenex's Inara. Deep Roots for Fishko's Grover. Desert Shadow for Cybe 8's Shaolin. And Area Assault for Sephicloud's Ruckus.
Bird running Mortal Reach Saris. It's going to be Hunter's daughter Thiel. Pluck Makoa for him yet again. Architectonics Barrack for Bonkar. SunCommander running Cassie with the Exaction legendary for her dodge roll skill, and Accelerant Bomb King for Laizy. Master Riding for Barrack as we start things off. A couple cauterizes as well. A few wreckers on the side of Flashpoint, though, really knowing they're going to have to deal with shields this game.
Yeah, Grover bringing that root could be a couple of good things to synergize with. You're looking at a Shaolin planning. You're just looking at the raw damage output of Ruckus as well. If you get rooted out, whether it's Bonkar or whether it's Thiel, either of those players is going to be pretty punished by that. Thiel looking for a hook, looking for something, getting walled off right now. And Flashpoint doing a good job of taking the place of where Kinessa would be standing if she was in the game. But nonetheless, Shaolin, Grover kind of filling that pseudo-sniper role right now, just using this big flank route.
They're all looking for one mistake, one pick to maybe change the tide of this fight. The Impaler Arrow could have been it for Cybe 8, setting up a long-range planted, but that doesn't happen. He sees his moment, though. Laizy's getting low. Grumpy Bomb zoning away any potential aggression, and that was a great heads-up play by Laizy. So far, first blood, though, does go to Shaolin, and Flashpoint kick things off.
Snuck up on him. Now they're collapsing on the rest of Snek. A man down. Bonkar answers back. Sephicloud takes down Thiel. Big plan. It comes out. It's going to find Bonkar with the final arrow. So now SunCommander and Bird, no choice really but to back up as they've just lost too much.
Maybe Impale off of the ledge. Are they looking? It is! Yes, off the ledge! Cybe 8 gets SunCommander yet again and finds himself winning the 1v1 duel over this incredibly talented flanker duo. And another! Oh my god, and another one! Cybe 8 going crazy, and Flashpoint take the objective. What a highlight reel.
Come on, Thiel, that's your move, dog. How are you gonna fall for that?
Literally, fall for that. And they have just done that to perfection. The Shaolin really paying dividends. Bonkar going to go down huge for Fisheko, as that means he will survive. And Nick Fisheko, a guy who we're used to carrying this squad on the likes of Bomb King, playing the Grover, why do you put a guy like this on this champion in specific?
Still a projectile. Frankly, Grover's stuff it's hard to hit. You know, you got to have that projectile sense. You got to have that psychology of how to lead your projectiles. And the root is going to be critical because, like we said, you know, planted and just Ruckus's raw damage, they're very high, but they require some type of setup to, you know, really put a lot of that damage into an enemy. And just being at a long distance here, Grover, it's good to zone with on Frozen Guard as well. It's good to have some type of pressure at a long distance on Frozen Guard once you take an advantage.
As well, CogCog going for an extra follow-up here, just making sure after the root that they can finish one off. Laizy coming in with the King Bomb, but he's a little far away. They might have time to retreat. Oh, and I mean retreat right into him. Gets the hook right after that, but Laizy could fall. In fact, he will, thanks to Faenex CC immune with the Earthen Guard.
It's a really good counter. I mean, while Grover can be CC'd, the healing still coming through, and now putting pedal to the metal here. Flashpoint looking to win this team fight. They're looking to find this conversion here in the first round.
bonkar just falling so fast. I think the Dome Shield coming up isn't going to save him or buy him the time his team needs, as he does fall as a result of Sephicloud able to just tank the DPS with the emitter shield and not worry about the flame turret inside. Laizy almost goes down, but this is Thiel able to fall yet again, and that means no front line Hexafire here just to clean things up. And Faenex with a double leads Flashpoint with 2-0 over 50 Shades.
It's so encouraging to see that, because that's exactly what happened to Flashpoint on Jaguar Falls when they lost that game. There was a small lead given to 50 Shades of Snek. Snek recognized it, used their ultimates kind of in perfect succession. I mean, you got the counter whirlwind to the King Bomb, and then that's the big momentum swing right there. That's the key pick off, and then they just hold on to that lead throughout the round and were able to find the conversion off it. And that's the type of stuff that you need to do when you're going up against a top team, when you're trying to take games off one of the best squads in Paladins.
And resilience coming out. It's a budget buy, but Nick, the fact is they don't have that many credits. 50 Shades of Snek didn't win the capture objective, and now this is pretty much the best item they can buy for the amount of opportunity that they have to purchase things, and this could come back to haunt them. No cauterized 2s even for any member of 50 Shades of Snek.
You see him with 2 healers on Flashpoint. That's just going to be all the more of a problem for them. Dive 8 probably leading damage on his squad as well. Thiel already very low. Gonna have to pop the Ancient Rage just to stay alive, just to get something here. It's gonna cost him an ultimate. He's gonna find one, but probably gonna go down here as well. A lot of pressure on him right now. No shell shield available. He's gonna get taken out.
Great gourd there by Sephicloud, able to just fight while he's standing in the right position. But this has left 50 Shades of Snek with a complete control over the objective. Bird just able to see every member on his team, keep them healthy, and still get the capture. So despite winning that first fight, Thiel has actually done a perfect thing for his squad. Bought them time and bought them a point here.
Enough time, enough space. Ancient Rage, that's exactly what it's for. Even though he only got the 1 kill for it, you know, distracting so many members. And I think Flashpoint maybe overreacting slightly, buying a little bit into what Ancient Rage is designed to do. It's just designed to be a big punching bag, a big meat sack for you to try to run into.
It was a real big bait there, and the Dread Serpent comes through in a great time as well. I love using these ultimates pre-2 minutes. You know you're going to have enough time to charge them back up, and if you could stall any of this momentum, you'll really give yourself not only a credit advantage, but just, I think, a timing advantage as this clock continues to whittle down. A really good CC immunity preemptively with the Earthen Guard, avoids the convergence, but a seismic crash is ready if he needs it.
King Bomb as well. Whirlwind comes out, trying to keep Cybate alive, allowing him to win this duel for free. If he could just put so much burst damage, comes through at the last second between Pluck, bonkar, and a nice sticky bomb from Laizy.
And Fisheko actually was running away, so when he gets hooked, Laizy picks up the kill because he's no longer receiving the healing from Grover, but Fisheko does stay alive, so maybe that will be more important for them. Great Earthen Guard as well, the CC immune, the damage, excuse me, the stun, but the damage is still there, and Laizy on a 5 streak.
So tanky that Inara does go down, though. Just too much pressure. And this is why momentum is so important in Paladins. That's why these guys were not afraid to use their ultimates, not afraid just to get that 1 pick, because that 1 pick means that they can keep the momentum on their side just a little bit longer. And you can see after that point, how long, when did that fight, that fight was swinging 50 Shades way back, right as the payload was coming out from the point capture room. That's how long they were able to keep their momentum going. That's how important it is just to find that 1 pick here, that 1 pick there. Use your ultimate. Don't be scared. And you look, 84% on Ancient Rage. They're getting value because they're just snowballing these team fights time and time again.
And whereas CogCog normally on a defense that took the entire 2 minutes would have his ultimate back, because he used it earlier on, means he doesn't have the Dread Serpent going into this next fight. bonkar, Thiel have done a great job thus far, buying time, staying on the point. Bird, he's just, it's almost like just fanatic about staying on the objective. So they're going to have to get him off of that if they want to change things around. As this fight starts out, very interested to see where Thiel goes if he goes that far into the backline again.
Up in the air, around, Grumpy Bomb just to zone. He's doing it again, he's looking for it. He's getting spot out, misses the dredge anchor as well, into the shell shield, shell spin back towards the point, but he gets walled off. Not the worst of things, because Inara's DPS just isn't that scary to Mako right now, especially with Bird sitting right there. These two are just going to punch each other in the face for a minute to no avail.
The Cauterize may still be in the favor of Flashpoint, but 50 Shades of Snek now, tank battle with the spray, knows he's going to get the win. The gourd onto Inara, not enough to save her life. He's going to be, not for the emote, but just to heal up and see if anyone's coming around the corner. 87% yet again for 50 Shades of Snek. This is just, fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you, fool me twice. Shame on me.
Just a pretty cool way to, I mean, look at where this turret is. That's a pretty cool way to win a team fight on Frozen Guard. 50 Shades just kind of move around counterclockwise to the fight and get set up where Flashpoint would be retreating to if they lose the fight. So they kind of go all in terms of their positioning, but it's working out now. That little bit of momentum that they're grabbing. Look how far out everyone is. Look at bonkar just rocket bootsing in. Thiel's there as well. They are not letting go of this momentum. Bird is the only one on the objective. All 4 members of 50 Shades of Snek are out here looking for picks, looking to create space for Bird to push the payload.
And what's great is we're seeing these 1v1s get won by different players. We're seeing Flashpoint contend when it's all about just dueling, but in terms of tactics, 50 Shades of Snek have switched things up, sent Thiel into the back line, and Flashpoint have not reacted well enough. Fisheko could go down here. Cauterize may be enough to force the Grover out of play, but the King Bomb may be enough to do some damage here. 2 low targets. Is he going to hit it? He's CC immune Faenex, so he's going to get the damage back, but that's already a lot for his money.
The damage was enough just to assassinate Fisheko, and that's all the healing going to be gone now from that ultimate, which allows Snek to continue to win this one, trying to pull a bitey, trying to get up into the air, trying to buy time on this ruckus, but the HP pool just expiring. This is looking like a snowball victory for 50 Shades of Snek.
They don't have any big-time ultimates to deal with it. The healers, too good at healing. They've got the tanks, too good at tanking, and they've just got nobody on Flashpoint good at sticking together and grouping up. Despite all of the great moments they've had in this set, they don't win one game, and they go down yet again here in game number 3.
It's weird to say got 3-0'd after that was a nice performance. I feel like every payload push was just like this weird snowball thing coming through on both sides of the coin. Either way, you were able to flip it once.
Yeah.
I mean, teams, I think, you know, we saw this in Smite, you know, as the scene matures, as, you know, teams get better. It's kind of, we're seeing that now as well. When you give a small lead, they're so good at holding on to it and just getting more and more off the back of it. And maybe teams now need to recognize when that's happening, just to take the full step back, the full deep breath, come out as 5, and just stop that snowball in its tracks.
I mean, what's so interesting to me is looking at the way that they didn't even fight on the objective the last 2 rounds. And what 50 Shades of Snek have shown is that they've not only, like you mentioned, got the skill to play at the highest level, but they've got the strategy. They've got the ability to make a different decision and say, let's send Thiel, our veteran tank player, confident that he could do his job and distract 4 members of Flashpoint and make sure they don't even step a foot onto where they need to be to win this objective. And that changed the fight. That changed the set. That just sealed the deal for
really
the
cool
up-and-comers.
We got one more semifinal coming up. We'll head on over to the bracket. It's going to be D69 versus WASD. This is a very interesting matchup that, you know, is starting to get to the point where it can go either way. I think I would definitely say it's still in D69's favor, but probably only 70-30 now instead of 90-10.
It's right now, I think this is the moment where if you're WASD, you need to strike. D69 have shown they're weak right now. They haven't had their best couple of weekends, and they haven't had their best couple of showings. These guys can play at the highest level and beat anybody. They proved that in the Masters LAN, but they have struggled over the last couple of weeks to get the results that we expect of them. So if WASD and Spunky are going to be able to put this team in the position that they want, taking Mudastina from the Masters LAN, a great performer there, adding him onto the roster, this is the weekend. It's week 4. They've got to do it now. Maybe never. We'll see you guys right after the break and follow up on this second semifinal for the day.